Greetings. How's everybody going today? We are on Sci Fiction on Facebook, Sci Fiction on Twitch, Sci Fiction on Twitter, and Sci Fiction Official on YouTube. Let everybody get poured here into the live stream. Today, we're going to be going over some news as well as interviewing an amazing podcaster and movie aficionado, Mr. Scotty White, who will be joining us here shortly. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Let's share the screen here. Hold on a second. Go over some things here right quick. All right. We've got a brand new article on the site on the front. We're about to change out for a Spider-Man article about the new video game. Right now it's got why Secret Invasion could be Marvel's Andor. And it's kind of like going like into the details of how Andor kind of was unique for the Star Wars franchise and how Secret Invasion could be the equivalent of Andor for the Marvel franchise. We also have an article here talking about how Star Trek got its first Eisner Award nomination, which they will be giving out the Eisner Awards, I believe, at San Diego Comic-Con in beautiful San Diego, California, here in July, which we will be at, by the way. We're going to be down there covering San Diego Comic-Con the whole week down there with Comic-Con goodness. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 now has a full official trailer. There it is right now. You can go to the site at scifiction.com and see the New World Season 2 trailer reaction. Brilliant trailer, amazing, looks gorgeous, very good storytelling. Looking forward to seeing Season 2 of Strange New World Star Trek with Captain Pike and Spock and all the goodness. And then we've got that. And then we've got one or two more pieces of news here before we get into a little bit of event stuff. Star Wars Unlimited trading card game shows off gameplay and cards. There's the gameplay from Fantasy Flight Games video. Here's the article, all detailing it all on scifiction.com. We also have one more little piece of news here. The Expanse is getting a Telltale's game, which is down here. Get that there. It's right here. The Expanse is getting a Telltale's PlayStation. I believe it's also on. It's on PlayStation. All other platforms on it. It's PlayStation. So it's on PlayStation Official. You can pre-order it on PlayStation or the Epic Games Store, and it's going to be launching here soon. A brand new game. The last one they did was The Walking Dead. So this new Telltale's game is based on the Expanse universe, which is totally awesome. That's basically all the news updates, except for events. So we're going to close out of this screen here real quick. There I am. So, the events are going to be coming up soon. Not exactly sure what we're doing in June. There's nothing much planned in that month for event-wise. July is San Diego Comic-Con, full throttle like Beggars Canyon back home. We're going to that one. And we're going to do that. We'll be down there preview night, the 19th to the 25th. And then for August 3rd to the 6th, we're going to be at the official Star Trek Las Vegas Creation Entertainment Convention in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. That'll be down there on August, about a week or so after Comic-Con. Really looking forward to both of the Star Trek events. Going to be awesome. I'd like to shout out to our friends at the Space Command movie and film project by Mark Zicree and his wife Elaine Zicree. It's an amazing film project. They're going to have a booth, and they may have a panel, I believe, as well down there at Star Trek Las Vegas, as well as we're working on some stuff with them as well for possibly San Diego. So we're looking forward to both those events. And that's pretty much the event news. For people just joining us here, my name is Owen Cotter. I am the host, and I operate scifiction.com, and it is a news media portal for all things science fiction and beyond. Let everybody pour in here. Scotty White is our guest today. He is a podcaster. He also does a lot of stuff with Star Wars. He knows a lot about movies, and he's very cool. He also has a Kickstarter. We're going to bring him on and talk about his new Kickstarter project he's got going on, which I believe is going to launch here soon with the next few weeks. So waiting on that. Let me see what's going on here with him. Double check. So let's see what we get here. All right. So we're going to get Scotty White here on the horn here. He's going to be coming on here shortly. And everybody, just letting everybody know, just joining us, we were talking about going to San Diego Comic-Con in July. And then in August, early August, that first weekend rather, we're going to be in Star Trek Las Vegas in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada at the Rio Resorts Hotel. That's going to be a lot of fun. I usually have dozens and dozens of Star Trek actors and various people affiliated with the franchise, from creators, visual effects artists, storytellers, writers, actors, you name it. The Star Trek extravaganza at the Las Vegas Rio in Las Vegas about August 3rd through the 6th, put on by Creation Entertainment. We also going to be doing some stuff at Comic-Con. I can't really drop the ball. There may be some sci-fi goodies we'll be telling you about later on via some friends of ours. And also a friend of ours who's putting together some stuff there for Comic-Con, some programming. So we'll get back more kind of vague, but more details on that here coming up soon. And basically the news items we went over. We're working on getting some more guests for the show. I believe here soon we reached out to our good friends at Interfleet Broadcasting, Chris Tipsy Toaster and New York Pete. We're looking at bringing them on here shortly, sometime over the next week or so, as well as a few other actors. We reached out to some DC and Marvel actors, waiting to hear back from them to bring them on the broadcast, and much, much more. We've got a lot of goodies going on. We're just trying to ramp things up for y'all, get everything going over this next few months. We're bringing you a lot of content. We're dropping more videos on our Facebook, YouTube channel, especially YouTube channel. If you have not followed our YouTube channel, it's at Sci-Fiction Official. So just, / Sci-Fiction Official. Just look for Sci-Fiction with the same logo as on the Facebook with the yellow and blue font, and you'll see that. I also have a Twitter, working on getting those numbers up as well. It's at Sci-Fiction, which is down here. You can see there, Twitter. I think Scotty's on the horn here. Let me bring him on here. Scotty, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing awesome. We're going to bring your name up here. Boom. There it is. And you got your YouTube channel on there as well.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Very cool. What you been up to today, man? You been working?
Just working.
Hear you on that, man. Hear you on that. You've got a lot of stuff going on, man. We're going to get to your Kickstarter, I believe, as well here in a second. You also got a podcast. Can you talk about like what y'all do in the movies and stuff like that with the Mobcast Network?
Sure. I've had the Mobcast Network since 2014. We're almost in our 10th year, and we've got like nearly 550 episodes.
Oh, wow.
But our current podcast is called the Cult Movie Cantina, and it's about I bring a cult film to my two co-hosts, Stephanie and Justina. And Stephanie adds like an alcoholic beverage cocktail or a beer or wine pairing for the movie. So the next time you have the movie, you can enjoy a cocktail or beverage. Right. And then our third co-host, Justina, the way she was raised, she didn't see a lot of movies, and so it's almost like she was Amish. And so we get to show her movies that she'd never really seen before that she should have seen. And so we get this really interesting, fresh perspective on it.
Very cool, very cool. And you've done a lot of podcasts. What's some of the cool things like our guests you've had on recently?
Well, the last couple of guests we've had Uncle Henry from the Uncle Henry Show down here in Mobile. He's an iHeartRadio guy. And we just did Every Which Way But Loose with Clint Eastwood. That was a good one with him. And so, yeah, we've had some really interesting guests over the years.
Very cool. You've done a lot of stuff. You got the Cult Cantina Cup podcast, Star Wars. What do you think of the new Star Wars stuff? What are you looking forward to coming up?
Ahsoka. It's all about Ahsoka, right? Everything coming in August. I'm super excited for that.
It's gonna be awesome. You got a lot of tie-ins to Rebels in that. What characters are you looking forward to seeing most from the Rebels franchise?
I'm a huge fan for Hera, so I'm glad Mary Elizabeth Winstead's playing Hera. That's Ewan McGregor's wife, so I'm really excited to see her in there. And of course, we're going to get Sabine, and which is weird with long hair. I'm curious to see that. And I'm like the rest of Rebels fans, wanting to know, where is Ezra Bridger? Where's Ezra? We got to find Ezra. So hopefully we'll get the answers.
The trailer, I believe. That's all we saw.
We sure did. We sure did get the hologram.
Yeah. What about this show? You got two other shows that we have not had very little has been released, like Skeleton Crew. I don't even think it's had the trailer yet. What are you looking for?
No, Skeleton Crew hasn't had a trailer yet. They talked a little bit about it at Celebration, and they've showed some images, but we don't have a full trailer yet. I assume we'll get something after that, after Ahsoka. So probably October-ish, I would imagine, because I think Ahsoka's 10 episodes.
Yeah, about 10.
And then we get The Acolyte after that.
That's the one I was going to mention, though. What is that about? I'm not really catched up on that. I don't think
so the Acolyte, there's not a lot of info into it, except that it's more focused on the High Republic era, and so it's like the rise of the dark side in that era, and
Yeah.
so it's going to be real interesting since you know Disney Lucasfilm has really stayed away from old Republic stuff. They invented High Republic to kind of be their base for that.
Right.
But Old Republic's canon as officially again as of Celebration, so it was in the timeline. So
Very cool. Well, these new 3 movies they're doing next. What are your thoughts on those? What would you like to see on those?
you know, it's like the last 3 movies they were supposed to do. I hold my breath until it get out.
Right.
Disney's going through such a upheaval anyway. Bob Iger's back.
Yep.
And he's trying to find a good direction for the entire company, not just with Lucasfilm. So I'm not sure. I'll see when when they get here. I'll be surprised.
Very cool. Very cool. You've got a lot of this, the Star Wars. Of course, they wrapped up season 3 of The Mandalorian. What did you think about that?
Overall, I thought it was a fun season. I stuck the landing, I guess. Some really odd moments, but fun stuff. Lizzo shows up out of nowhere with Jack Black, and I thought that was fun. I'm in the minority. I know a lot of the fans were not happy, but I'm like, oh, this is the fun stuff. I'm curious where we're going in the season 4. I'm hoping it looks like we're going to kind of get back to his bounty hunting roots, and so since we're
cool
outside of a overarching story.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the new stuff they're building with that. You got this new trailer that dropped for. We were talking earlier with the news items. Star Trek. Talking about Star Trek: Strange New World season 2. Have you seen it? What do you think about it?
Oh, the best thing about the new trailer is that we get Mariner and Boimler from Lower Decks. So we get Lower Decks characters as live action characters. I am super excited for that. I cannot wait for that episode. I know it's probably going to be in the midway. I hope they don't make us wait to the end.
I guess I'm a huge fan related somehow.
Yeah, it has to be. I'm a huge fan of Strange New Worlds. It's some of the best Star Trek, and I'm all here for it.
The visual aesthetic, all the stuff.
It's fun. It's classic Trek, but like kind of modernized in the right way. I think what Discovery missed and Picard couldn't quite grab its hand around. I think Strange New Worlds is the good happy medium.
For sure. And what are you looking for? They've got some other stuff, especially in the Star Trek universe. They said there's like one like Starfleet Academy, a Section 31 movie with Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, the section. Yeah, I love Section 30. I'm a huge DS9 fan, so any kind of Section 31 stuff, I'm gonna be all over. So I'm excited for that. I'm curious, with Picard being season 3 doing so well, especially among the fans. Yeah. I'm curious where. What we're going to get. The Twitter universe has been calling Star Trek Legacy if they're trying to do another spinoff, and that would be fun. I would really like to see something more in a DS9 era kind of stuff. I'd like to revisit those characters. We got a little glimpse of them in Lower Decks, which was fun, but I'd like to see Kira and them back. So that's what my fingers are crossed for.
Well, you got this. Speaking of Star Trek. Shifting over a little bit to video games, you got this new video game called Star Trek Resurgence. Have you played it? Have you seen any of that?
I haven't. I saw just a little bit of gameplay on YouTube, but I haven't really dived into
some crazy. I think it takes place in about that same timeline. That's why I was asking about that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Have you played any of the Trek games? Are you a big Trek gamer?
Yes. Not that game, but I played a lot of the older games, and including like Elite Force, which is like the Voyager.
Elite Force was fun. What was the one for Xbox? The 360 was
Legacy.
Was it Legacy? Had all the captains come back for the voices? Yeah, that was fun. They tried to connect the Borg with the Vulcans, and it was real interesting. And V'ger.
Yeah, that's the one with all the 5 captains come back.
Yeah, that was a fun game. That's probably the last real Star Trek game I played. So it's been about 10 years.
It's great. It was also for PC, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of Star Trek, a lot of Star Wars. There's a lot of superhero stuff going on. I wanted to go over before we get to that, before you get to your comic as well, because I think you a Kickstarter going on. What do you think of the overall stuff with DC, with them rebooting the whole DC universe and this whole new James Gunn thing?
I'm a huge fan of James Gunn's work, back from even his remake of Dawn of the Dead and Slither, and of course what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. So much like how I trust Dave Filoni's in Star Wars in Dave Filoni's hands, I trust DC in James Gunn's hands, and so I'm curious and happy to see what's going to come out of all of this.
Yeah, there's so much that they've done. They've listed so many different stories that they're going to be doing with this new DC Gauntlet. I mean, everything from Green Lantern to a younger version of Superman to Wonder Woman, and just tons of other characters we have not yet seen in live action, and some we haven't seen in a long time in live action.
Right.
Looking forward to seeing that. So
I think what's real fun too is that for a while James Gunn was answering the questions. He got to a point where he realized that he's got scripts to write anyway, but he was really trying to dispel a lot of the rumors out there, and that's really smart, I think.
yeah. What about? So let's talk about. You have a Kickstarter coming up. What's that all about?
So yeah, I have a comic book coming out in a Kickstarter for it in July. It's called Chronicles of Limbo. It's the first two issues of a 4-issue limited, and it's basically about a 300-year-old half vampire and her cosmically powered toddler.
Nice. And where
Yes.
does it take place? What time area? And what's a little bit of
Well, it's limbo. It happens in a mythical world called Limbo, which is in our world is the world between all the multiverses. So it's the place where if you time travel or you teleport or something, you have to cross Limbo. So it's that realm, and it's a cross between my two loves. I love science fiction and I love fantasy. So I'm a Star Wars kid, of course I do.
Very
And so it's magic and monsters and lasers and all that fun stuff. And so not too many knights and swords, swords and sandals kind of thing. But a little bit more like Shadowrun or X-Files or Final Fantasy.
Very cool. That sounds awesome. And that debuts when abouts in July, like middle or
We're looking at like mid-July for a launch. I'm working with a media company we're actually going to do like commercials that'll show up on like Tubi and Pluto TV and things like that for it. I'm trying some new marketing. We put the first issue out a couple of years ago right after the pandemic, and of course, pandemic slowed everything down.
Right.
And so we finally got the second issue finished, and so it's a kind of reintroducing us to everybody. So we decided to do a media campaign with it.
Very cool. Very
So
cool.
you might see us on TV.
See you on TV. I'll have to bring you back and talk more about that.
Absolutely.
The comic book scene. There's so much going on with comics. You saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 first. What did you think about that?
Loved it. It's heartfelt and it's funny but it's a great conclusion to that trilogy. I think it ends on a strong note. I'm curious where it's going to go and who's going to take the realms next.
You got like Loki's coming back season 2, and then of course the Ant-Man Volume 3, the third movie, ended with Kang the Conqueror. Of course, it ties into Loki. What are you looking forward to seeing with that kind of motif?
Well, the first season of Loki I liked, but I didn't think it stuck the landing. It got real close to what it wanted to do, but I'm not sure what the end game was. Right. And so I'm curious where it's going to go. So they've got. I mean, look, Disney Plus has my money, so I'm gonna watch it.
Right. You got Star Wars and Marvel on there, so that's awesome. They've got the show that they're going to be doing. They have announced Echo, and of course they've got the new show where it's Ms. Marvel, and they're in space in the space station with Samuel L. Jackson. What do you think about that?
Well, Secret Invasion is the first one, I guess. I guess that Secret Invasion is next.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't read the comic for that was really interesting. So I'm really curious where, how much they're going to lean in onto the actual comic, because the Skrulls in the MCU are way different than the Skrulls in the actual Marvel universe.
Right.
In 616, so it can go a lot of places. I'm always interested in space Marvel anyway. I'm an X-Men fan, so Shi'ar and Kree and all that stuff I always get excited for. So anytime Marvel goes to space, I get real happy. So
Very cool.
Alien invasions and whatever secret spy stuff they're going to do, it's going to be fun.
Who do you think? I know they showed Rhodey's going to be in there. What other characters do you think would you like to see pop up in there?
Well, I think we'll get some of the remaining Avengers in there. Too bad that Jeremy Renner got run over by a snowplow. So I mean, we were probably going to say Hawkeye in it. And remember, we may have filmed stuff beforehand. Luckily, he's doing a lot better. It seems.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit on that. I'm excited. It's like Rhodey's going to be in it, and that's going to tie into Armor Wars, which is coming out later. They've changed Armor Wars from a
Yeah,
series to a movie,
yeah.
and the rumor is that's where we're going to get Doom to tie into the Fantastic Four, which is coming out, and that's the big rumors. Like the casting of the Fantastic Four has kind of been leaked or been reported. Nothing's been confirmed by Disney. Of course, Disney's not going to confirm until they're ready to do it. But
they're going to do it. They're going to do a big version of it. They are.
But at least I like where it's going. They got the strongest rumors I've heard is it's Adam Driver's Reed, and Margot Robbie as Sue. They've got a new kid as Johnny. He's currently going to be in Gladiator 2. He's playing. I can't think of his name, but he's playing Commodus's nephew.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then Gladiator 2, and then they've got Dovey Diggs from Hamilton and Snowpiercer as Ben Grimm.
Wow, it's a whole new cast.
Yeah, absolutely, a whole new cast, and something fresh, and you can get Adam Driver and Margot Robbie in anything. It's going to be killer.
Awesome. So I got to ask, what do you think of Michael Keaton coming back as Batman?
Oh, come on, man. That's amazing, right? I mean, the moment he says, "Do you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." I mean, I giggled and just the 10-year-old in me who saw the original Batman just squealed with delight. So I am looking forward to the Flash. So we're a couple more weeks, actually, not too much longer.
About 4 weeks. Did you hear the rumors that when he travels, I heard something like, and I don't know if it's true or not, but when he travels through the multiverses and goes to the different ones, there's a Nick Cage Superman battling some robot with laser beams.
Yeah, that's the rumor that we got. They got Nick Cage in costume for it. So, and I know we're getting multiple Batmans because it's not just Keaton and Batfleck's in it too, but we also see the Christian Bale motorcycle in it.
Yep. Well, if you look at the new trailer when the flashes before they drop out of the bat plane, that's George Clooney's Batman.
Right. So it's I'm a little Schumacher in there, a little Tim Burton. I mean,
everything.
If they can get a little Adam West in it, it'd be perfect.
He is in it. They said he's going to be in it, and him and Christopher Reeve and Linda Carter with archival footage or something like that.
I'm all for it. I'm all excited for that. I'll take that.
And I think not Jay Garrick's in it, a version of Jay Garrick, the Flash from the multiverse.
Okay,
he's gonna be in as well.
We'll get who was even in the '90s? It was
Wesley Shipp was the '90s Flash.
Yeah, Wesley. So maybe get Wesley Shipp in it. That would be cool. That's my Flash. Like that's what I mean. I was introduced to Flash like a lot of kids from like the Super Friends, but like live action Flash for me is the '90s one.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's Trickster in there too.
Oh, if you're gonna have Hamill come in and do anything, I'd like to see Hamill voice the Joker for something.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Man. You got the. Did you see him in that new movie where he's like the father of this fighter or something like that? What was that about?
Oh, The Machine.
Yeah, Machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Bert Kreischer, and Bert Kreischer's he's a comedian. Yeah. And he's real famous for telling this story, the Machine story. And if you've not heard it, go to YouTube and watch it. It's hilarious. Yeah. And so
awesome.
If you've not heard the Machine story, go to YouTube and watch it seriously. And then it's about, quickly summing up, it's about him in college going on a trip to Russia as a college trip, and he gets involved with the Russian mob.
Oh wow.
And so he swears up and down it's a true story. And of course, Bert Kreischer's the guy who's Van Wilder was based on after a Rolling Stone article was written about him before he became a comedian, and now he's been a comedian for 15, 20 years now. But The Machine itself is a retelling of that story, but it's now 20 years later, and the repercussions of that story have come to haunt him. And he gets into shenanigans, and so Mark Hamill plays Bert Kreischer's dad in it.
That's awesome. So I got to ask, you got a lot of sci-fi going on. There's tons of stuff going on in the sci-fi world. What are some of the stuff beyond Star Trek and Star Wars that you're kind of looking forward to? You seeing in like movies, TV, all that?
I'm currently hooked on. Have you seen Silo on Apple?
I just got Apple TV the other day. Actually, I was catching up on For All Mankind, and I want to watch that.
Silo's great. I actually started it Sunday. There's 5 episodes in, and I never do this because of my time. But I was just like, I'm gonna watch an episode, and then 5 hours later, I had watched all five. And
What is that one about exactly? I didn't know. What was that?
so Silo is a one of those post-apocalyptic stories where something has happened on the Earth, and something catastrophic, and it sent people to live in underground. They built a silo for them to live underground, and but it's happened so long ago, no one knows what happened. And the kicker is, on top of that, 140 years ago in their history, they had a rebellion that wiped out their libraries and their history. So they don't know anything past the 140 years. So it's beyond. And if you find anything or have anything from before that period, they're called relics, and they're forbidden by the new
Mm.
laws. And it is fascinating. It is just. I can't think of the actor's name, but she was Rose the Hat in Doctor Sleep, and she's Lady Jessica in the new Dune movie. She stars in it, and she is fantastic. And it's got Tim Robbins in it, and he's really, really good. And
Jeremiah was
it is,
amazing. Anyway, you see what
yeah,
the antitrust he did, where he's the fake Bill Gates.
you're right. Yeah, so I highly recommend it. So definitely check out Silo, and then of course Dune, second part of Dune's coming out at the end of the year, and so
What are you looking forward to Dune 2? That's gonna be action packed.
oh yeah, it's a I'm not, I wasn't crazy about the first half for a number of reasons. I thought he went in some interesting directions, but not. I'm still hooked on lynches. I love lynches,
That's awesome.
but
Still, it holds up. Looks great.
it does hold up, and and a lot of people don't like it, but I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan. I mean, like I said, I think it would. Dune came out in '84, so I'm post Return. I'm 7 years old when I first see it,
The same year
and
the last Starfighter came out, I believe.
right, and so I kind of have a nostalgia connection to it, and I watch it once or twice a year. I love it, and so I like what this new Dune's doing. I wouldn't end it like they did. I don't understand why they ended it with the Fremen. You shouldn't end it on the dramatic point where like they see the worm. You're like,
Right.
you don't know what's going to happen, and then credits. But no, they get you to the
Ride it with
Fremen.
the Toto music where he's riding the worm.
Right? That's what you want. You want Toto music. They just played Mobile a couple of months ago, and I never asked. I wonder if they put some of the Dune soundtrack in there. There's that. I would. I just
A big
right after
paper
Rosanna
with
for
Sam on
Africa.
the stage with her riding on the stage.
Oh, that would be dope. That would be so dope.
That's awesome. You got you got the Dune movie coming out. They're talking about doing a reboot of Battlestar Galactica. They rumored that a little bit. What would you, if they did another Battlestar? What would you like to see it goes? They did the Ronald D. Moore one, who's also now have been working on For All Mankind. He's the showrunner for that.
Look, Battlestar's fine. I wasn't a huge fan. I love the pilot and after the pilot, the show didn't grab me. However, if they're going to reboot stuff, there's two things I think they should reboot. I think Stargate needs a reboot.
Stargate, yeah, for sure.
I'm a new convert to Stargate. My friend, shout out to Kisa, got me hooked up on Stargate. We've been watching it together, and
Amazing.
and so it's great. It's great. And the other one I really want is V.
Ooh,
We had a V like this
Lizard.
week is like the right. So this week is the 40th anniversary of V from when it aired for the first time.
Yeah.
And kids, if you don't know V, go back and go check that out. Go YouTube that.
Got
It's
Michael
great. It's
Ironside
great.
in it. You got
Mark Singer. You Beastmasters in it.
Beastmasters in it. Yeah.
It was one of Robert Englund's first projects. I think he was Willie on V before he was Freddy Krueger.
Yep. Everybody.
And Jane Baldwin's in it, and just V's great. And I know about 15 years ago they had ABC did that 2-season run.
Yeah, they did a modernized. I forgot about they did the modernized.
They just didn't find its leg. By the time they found its leg, it got canceled. It's like how I feel about the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It was like too early before its time.
Yeah.
And both shows were dope. So yeah, I think look, Battlestar is fine if you like Battlestar. Yay that. But I think Stargate needs another run, and I think V needs another good run too.
One cool thing I was thinking about the other day is if they took Buckaroo Banzai and they made it more like a little bit continuation in the future and had his son be the head of Banzai Institute. And his
So,
father, they could have cameo back Peter Weller. They could do
oh,
continuation of that.
that would be great. But Buckaroo Banzai's rights, the rights for that is all screwy. There's
Man,
been a lot of people, including Kevin Smith, trying to reboot it over the years,
yeah.
and they just can't get the rights together so they can do it. So it's like it's one of those things where it was owned by a studio, then studio got bought, and that studio got bought, and they don't really know who owns what,
Right.
and no one's really dug deep down enough to figure out who owns the property.
That movie's crazy, man. It's amazing because it's just like
That's a great movie.
own universe, but you got to understand. Like, there's this one scene in there when they go in with the watermelon, just kind of holding the pipe together. And they,
Oh, I always like. That was one of my favorites to rent as a kid from the video store kids. That was a thing back then. That was our Netflix. It wasn't even Blockbuster. It was the mom and pop. I'm deep south, so we had mom and pop rental stores, or
like
the gas
Village
station would
Video,
have the video cassette.
Gallery.
But I'd often rent Buckaroo Banzai and Ice Pirates.
Ooh, the one with the guy, Angelica Houston's in there, right?
Yeah, right. And it's got Robert
What's his
Hayes,
name?
not Robert Hayes. It's
God, I know the guy. The guy.
yeah. But the great comedy, weird movie, but
They're like on a spaceship and they have that robot and they have time
well,
travel and
they
everything.
kind of they steal ice. So
Ice Pirates.
it's
That was awesome. They got some great movies from that era. They got what was the one with Dennis Quaid where he like jumps into a dreamscape? You seen that one?
yeah, Dreamscape's one of my favorites. I
Yeah.
For years, I own like 5 or 6 copies of the DVD because I keep forgetting I own it, and then I would walk into it and be like, "Oh, look, Dreamscape! That's one of my favorite movies." And then, oh yeah, I own it already. But I had 4 or 5 copies of just because of that. Dreamscape's great. That's another movie they should reboot. That's something they should revisit.
There's like Norm from Cheers. They bring him in as one of the
Yeah,
subjects.
George Wentz in it. The guy from the Warriors who says "Warriors come out to play." He's the bad guy in it.
And was it Spielberg's wife who was in Harrison Ford and Indiana Temple of Doom's the love interest or whatever?
Yeah, Kim Cattrall's in it, and it's Max von Sydow's in it, and so it is it's great if you've not seen Dreamscape. I highly recommend that one too. God, this is fun. I love going Ada's nostalgia wormholes.
We got a Dreamscape, Dennis Quaid. What about Inner Space?
Classic. You can't argue classic.
Yeah, that's great. You got Rob Picardo as the cowboy and the little microchips and all that jazz and the pot he puts down there.
I've been revisiting Voyager, so I've been going down Robert Picardo rabbit holes and stuff. And when he popped up,
so much stuff. Like he was the Johnny Cab in Total Recall.
Oh, he's in The Howling.
Yep.
And so that was a surprise. Popping out as a werewolf.
I saw him in was it there's actually the film. I was talking to some of the people from that yesterday. Have you seen the Space Command project that they're doing where he's in that as like a outer space miner on like a planet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's chock full. Like if you go to YouTube, search up Space Command. It's got Doug Jones, Bob Picardo, Bruce Boxleitner's in it.
I was going to see Bruce didn't work.
Yeah,
Tron needs work.
Yeah, well, he's going to be a new Tron. He's doing a third Tron.
Are they doing a third Tron?
Doing a third Tron, and they just released the Tron roller coaster. Just announced.
Oh yeah, maybe that makes some sense if they're going
to do a movie. What's the other one? They got Dwayne, the guy with who was doing the synthetic eyes. It was Big Trouble Little China. And you've got who else is in it? Just tons of Star Trek and sci-fi actors. Babylon.
That's 5, another one though. They're having trouble rebooting as Big Trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't beat that. That's a classic, man.
The Rock was trying to do it a couple of times, and then really? I think after Black Adam, he's kind of not. No
more Black Adam. We never get to see him battle Henry Cavill Superman now, man.
That was a crazy movie. It wasn't my favorite, but it was crazy.
Did you see of course, the end of Shazam 1 where they had that Superman that was like the super tall head?
You're right, yeah. I've not seen the latest Shazam. It's on. It just
it was pretty good. Zack
on Max, so I need to watch that. I gotta watch that. I haven't seen Ant-Man 3 either.
The Snyder cut of Justice League's on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, well, but now it's just Max, because they dropped the HBO. I saw Snyder cut. What is it? 2 years now? It's been out. God,
About
it
2
seems
years.
like it's.
You got what's it,
I
HBO?
dug it. I'm a Zack Snyder apologist. He's got his Rogue Moon's coming out December from
Oh
Netflix.
yeah, I forgot about his version of like a Star Wars or whatever.
Well, yeah, the idea he pitched Star Wars to Lucasfilm and they passed, and so he went, "Oh, okay, I'll just make it anyway." Made it for Netflix.
That's awesome. What are you looking forward to that? They've released little pieces of that as well. Haven't they? Like
There's only a tiny bit on their Netflix did like a here's what's coming up the rest of the year trailer, and it just
that could be a hidden gem right there.
yeah, well, we'll see. Like I said, I'm a Zack Snyder's hit and miss, but I'm a big fan. Like I said, I'm an apologist, but I like everything except Man of Steel was kind of weak for me, and then this last one, was it Army of Dead? The Vegas heist one just didn't work for me, but Rogue Moon looks fascinating, so
You see that? I saw a big chunk of it, but the one that Roland Emmerich did, Moonfall or whatever it was.
Moonfall, yeah, it's not good. They did that on How Did This Get Made? So, I typically like Emmerich fan movies, but
oh yeah, sure.
I mean, you can't go wrong with like they're silly. 2012 is silly, but it's good. Day After Tomorrow,
so good, man. With everything just like going the heck, and you got them on the plane just going over, and everything just caving.
Oh yeah, and then Day After Tomorrow, where there's people who actually outrun a cold front, and it's
another Dennis Quaid good one.
Yeah, it is, and then what else? Of course, Stargate's his too.
Yep, Roland Emmerich Stargate. Yep.
Yep,
the James Spader Stargate, and you got Kurt Russell in that one. Did you see the alternate? Was it the alternate intro or whatever for the Stargate, where they had the whole thing where they talked about like how Ra, got captured in the desert, and the alien took him over, and there's like a whole when they redid the newer version, they went a little bit more in depth into it.
Oh,
they showed like flashbacks and scenes and art. Because like if there's a scene in SG headquarters with Kurt Russell, and they realize that the gate, they can get it open. They're about to activate the gate. But before they do that, in the background is a Gould fossilized. They found a Giza plateau somewhere by the gate, and they look back like, yeah, make sure you bring your. That's why he brought a whole bunch of soldiers and weapons. It's one of the reasons I guess they alluded to the fact they brought the warhead that, of course, Ra, put the mineral in the beam back to Earth. That's, of course, they beamed up the Ra ship. We got a plan. But yeah, that was the whole reason for them bringing that, because they realized there was something there that had not been addressed. So that's in like the cut, whatever that cut is.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere buried in there.
Wow.
Did you ever mention nostalgia 80s movies? I got to ask this. Did you ever see the movie with Denise Crosby called Eliminators?
Yeah, so Eliminators is one of the reasons why I started my podcast. It's also one of my favorite topics to talk to when I see Denise Crosby at conventions. Everyone talks to her about Tasha Yar, and I'm like, it's Scotty here. I'm going to talk about Eliminators. And I'd like to. The last time she was at Pensacon in Pensacola, I talked to her about the next time she comes, scheduling a screening with her doing a Q&A for it.
That'd be awesome.
And so that's on my list to try to work that out, because everyone needs to see Eliminators. It's a man who's a half man, half tank.
Did they ever make a Blu-ray version? I know there's a Shout Factory.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray. I have a Blu-ray. It comes with the Dungeon Master, which is also a crazy movie. But yeah, you can get it. It's like $15 on Amazon now.
I know Shout Factory had it on a disc with some other stuff way back. It was on DVD though, that version.
Yeah, there's a Blu-ray of it, and it's a pretty good cut too. It's a pretty good cut. So yeah, Eliminators. Go YouTube that, kid. That trailer is great.
Go YouTube that, everybody. Eliminators is awesome.
Oh, so if you like Eliminators, you ever seen Miracle Mile?
I've not seen that one.
So it's another Denise Crosby movie. It's her. It's Anthony Edwards. It's from 1989. It's a nuclear war love story kind of thing. Anthony Edwards plays from ER and Revenge of the Nerds. He plays Which one? Yep. He plays a jazz musician who falls in love with this waitress, and they set up this blind date, and he oversleeps, and he tries to call her to apologize, and when he calls her on the payphone, he gets a call from a panicked Army officer kid who's trying to warn his dad that the missiles have been launched.
Oh, wow.
And so it has the missiles been launched? What's going on? And he's trying to get to his girl before all heck, comes loose. It's great. Miracle Mile. You can see it on Tubi. It's on Tubi.
Check that one out. You remember the movie Krull with the glaive?
Yeah, Krull, the glaive. Actually, it's we did it on the podcast early on in the network, so we probably did it like 2014. It's one I need to revisit with a new group I've got. So it's on my list. Liam Neeson's in that movie.
Mm-hmm. And you got the guy that played Hagrid. He's one of the thieves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, it sure is. Oh, man.
The main guy that played the hero, the prince, actually was in Deep Space Nine Star Trek.
Yeah, he's a Michael Eddington.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, who went Marquis.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I like that movie with the, what was the one they did? There's Krull, and there was the one with Tom Cruise, Legend or something like that.
Legend. My favorite thing about Legend is that how many times the set burned down. Legend took forever to make. And when they were filming Star Trek 3, they were filming it on opposite set of Legend. And the set caught fire, which caught fire to the Star Trek 3 set. William Shatner actually
hearing something about that.
Yeah, William Shatner actually fought the fire. So
So that was while they were filming it, I guess, Star Trek 3? Or?
Yeah. So they were filming 3 in Legend. Back to it took Legend forever.
So
Legend almost didn't
get marks. Maybe you're still there when they blow up the Enterprise, and
or maybe that's what the fire was. What it was using the Genesis planet set. He's fighting Doc Brown.
Doc Brown's time machine and Doc Brown's HMS Bounty time machine.
Right. Of course, also John Larroquette's in Star Trek 3, which I think is hilarious.
There's a lot of characters. You got was it George Clooney's brother, who was the guy that built RoboCop? Excelsior.
Yep. Oh man.
80s gold, man. 80s gold.
Oh, I'm like a kid of the 80s, so I love Eddie.
Did you Blade Runner 2049? Did you get to see? They're talking about doing like a Blade Runner series. What were your thoughts on that? What would you like to see them do with that?
All right, so I have a love-hate relationship with Blade Runner. Blade Runner fans, I love all of you. But you have to admit it's a slow movie, and it takes forever to get where it gets. However, that being said, it is beautiful to look at. The mise en scene is gorgeous. Everything in there. When I was in college, we had a college professor that was basically all we did that semester was study different aspects of Blade Runner. I do not ever have to see it again. So I love all you Blade Runner fans out there. Still find your androids or whatever, your replicants. But yeah, I'm going to stay over here and I'll hang out with Star Trek or something.
Can't beat that. Well, before we wrap up the show, I wanted to see did you have any links to any ways we could send to the Kickstarter or to your personal websites for the Mopcast Network?
But just check us out at youtube.com/Mopcast Network. That you can get all the video stuff there. If you want to check out the comic, the first issue is completely online at chroniclesoflimbo.com. So definitely check that out. And then we'll have some more information as we get closer to the Kickstarter itself. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm still on Twitter at Scotty White. This is my whole name, at Scotty White. You'll find me there. Just please give me a follow. If you like, you like what I do, give us a like on the subscribe on the YouTube, and the podcast is Cult Movie Cantina. You can find us where all podcasts are found. I think we're pretty much on every podcast
Very cool.
platform now.
Scotty, I wanted to thank you for being on the show. We have to bring you back sometime soon and talk more.
Always, man. Anytime, brother. Anytime. Yes, and we have to get you to come on our show. Come hang out with us.
For sure. Yeah.
We'll find a good 80s movie for us to talk about.
For sure, man. You have a beautiful day, Scotty.
You too, brother. Thank you for having me.
And prosper, and may the force be with you always.
This is the way.
That's right. Peace, man.